All right, and welcome back to Real Conversations. I'm your host, Buzz, and I'm here today with Xin Li, the director of the movie film The Winter. And if we can get started, if you just give us a little background or your history or whatever the case may be with your animation or movie creating uh, progress of history.
Thank you, Austin, and thank you for Real to Real International Film Festival to including my film. It's a great honor my film could be included, and thanks for the selection. This film is part of my creation called the series, the season series. So each short film represents a feeling of season in the year, and I was thinking maybe I can represent the feeling of the season in animation, in the short animation. So I try to create 4 short films in the series called the seasons, and summer is one of the short films in the series.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I personally, I really enjoyed your film. Something that's just super interesting to me was like the art style and the animation that you chose to do. Could you expand upon that a little bit for us?
Um, yeah, I was thinking before making this film, how can I represent the feeling of the foggy forest and also the snowy forest in the mountain? And that was the challenge of the making of the film. And I researched on the internet and also did interview with my parents from the period they were living in a snow mountain in northeastern in China in their period of time. And so I did all the research, and I tried to represent the feeling of the snowy forest, and that was the most important part of the production.
Nice. And so you had said like you wanted to kind of like encapsulate like the 4 seasons, and this one you chose to do the winter. What made you want to do like get the feeling of the 4 seasons? Like what inspired that idea for that series of short films that you've made?
For me, animation is like a diary. It's something I can recall the period of time, the feeling of that period of a time. Um, uh, I have already made the spring, the autumn, and the winter, and at each part of the production, during that of time, life gave me some inspiration to make the film. For example, for the spring, at that time, my daughter was born, and the hope of a new life, and also the feeling of the uh, the the hopefulness, give me the feeling of uh, to the springtime. It's like the springtime of the year. So I with that kind of emotion and also encouragement, I made that film. And so each short film is depend on what I feel during the life, and what life gave me the inspiration.
Nice, that's awesome. You're just going with the flow, and whatever came to you, you're like, that's what we're gonna do. I love that. That's awesome. Um, and so about the winter, the film that you submitted, um, I felt like a big sense of like kind of like solitude because like like the winter, um, and like the character there was in pursuit of this deer that was
Yeah.
magnificent. Um, was there any certain thing that you were trying to make the deer like appear to be? Like, what was the deer representing to you?
I think in our life, it's really hard to resist the shiny things like the fame or the fortune. And this is something can be look like a shiny object to lead us to chase it. So the deer in the film is represent the shiny thing in our life to attract us. But I think we all experience the journey to chase this shiny thing. Maybe sometimes we can't obtain or we can't get this shiny thing, but this journey leads us to a different part of period of life. We can overview our original life, and we can overview the landscape, and we can overview the life in the present. And maybe that's the thing can give us the joy and content. And so in the end of the film, the character looked back to the deer and he didn't follow the deer again. And he just feel the current of life, the present of life. So this is the metaphor of the deer.
That's awesome. That's so cool. I wasn't sure if that was going to be like a good question to ask or not, or if you're going to say it's just up to the viewer to figure out whatever it is. I love that answer. That was great. Thank you for that. And I totally agree. Like, you just gotta enjoy life, be in the moment, you know. Take a moment, because I liked how there towards the end, he just was kind of looking out over the beautiful landscape, and just kind of, you know, it's like we definitely need to just do that every once in a while. And so I read a little bit about, like in your submission, you had written a little bit about like the style and how you animated, how you did like a painting on like glass and then animated that. So if you could kind of talk about how, like, I feel like that sounded super challenging to do, and about like how long did that take?
It doesn't take too long because before I studied animation, I studied oil painting for 4 years for the traditional oil painting practice. And then in my second year of uni, my teacher, Xin Li, suggests me, maybe you can combine oil painting and animation together. And he showed me Alexander Petrov's oil painting, The Old Man and the Sea. And so at that time, I started practicing oil painting on glass animation. And it's been several years I have been practicing this technique. I find it's also called straight ahead animation. So that means I don't know what's the final frame look like. The only thing I can do is from the first frame, based on the first frame, I change a little bit or erase a little bit, and then create the next one. And after that, I created the next one. Sometimes the animation itself can create its own outcome, which is out of my expectation. Maybe the character's perspective change or the background look a little bit larger, so I can zoom out a little bit. So that's a surprise for me I like this practice, and also according to the production process, it doesn't cost too much of production time because it reduces a lot of post-production effects, and also I can just paint the frame and capture the frame, and it looks like the production I produce itself. So it doesn't take too much of the time to make the production.
Nice. It's just, it sounded like when I was reading your thing, it just sounded like such an interesting process. I'd never heard of anything like that before. So that's awesome. That's really cool. And so those are all the questions that I have for you. But
Yeah.
before we finish up here, is there anything that you want to let anybody else know about, like what you're doing next, or is there any ways that they can keep up with your work on like social media for say, or anything like that?
I'm currently working on the last short animated film called The Summer, which is the last short film in the season series. And my Instagram or Facebook should be on the website. And thanks so much for watching my film, and I hope you like the process and like the film itself.
Oh yes, yes, I did indeed. It was very good. I enjoyed it. And thank you again so much for your time.
Thanks, Austin.
You're welcome.
Thank you.